Hello everyone, welcome to episode 5 of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. I'm your host, Gregory Barrett, and with me is my lovely wife, Christine.
Hi.
So today, we just got a little bit of news because we just did another episode a few days ago. And then we got some reviews we'll go through. Probably won't be a longer episode.
No.
What do you want to start off with? Do you want to start off? We both got a couple of things that we can jointly review if you want to start off with that, or do you want to dive right into the news?
The news seems to be how we're starting, so let's start with the news.
It's up to you. We can change it up anytime. I'm cool with that.
It makes sense.
Okay, so bad news. We just talked about this guy on the last episode.
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy passed away at age 66, which is far too young for that. And he was, to many people, he was their Batman. Right. Just as I was saying, okay, I just finished watching the animated series recently.
Yes.
And to a lot of people, this is their Batman.
Right, and
this is how they were introduced to him.
Wanted more from him. I guess that's not going to happen. That's too bad.
Well, he recently appeared on one of the Arrowverse crossover shows. Mm-hmm. I haven't been watching the Arrowverse for a few years now. But he appeared on one of those as Bruce Wayne Batman, an older Bruce Wayne.
You mean the Arrow TV show?
Well, Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, they refer to it as the Arrowverse on the CW. But they're all pretty much coming to an end now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that time is over.
Didn't the CW come to an end?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
But there's nothing new on it right now.
Coming to an end, okay.
There's no definitive word on that, if they're selling it off or if they're just going to rebrand it as something else.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. So Kevin Conroy,
my favorite show of theirs.
He is mostly known for voicing Bruce Wayne Batman in the animated series, as well as the subsequent movies. He's probably the guy that we have received the most Batman content from.
Okay.
Of any of the Batman actors, even more than Adam West, who did, tons of episodes back in the 60s, plus that 1967 Adventures of Batman and Robin movie.
Okay.
Which was hilarious.
It's not my thing, but you can watch it all you want.
It was so funny. If you haven't seen this, okay, Adventures of Batman and Robin starring, what's his name again? Adam West and Burt Ward. From 1967, it's completely hilarious. They got a bunch of the villains in. I watched it a few months back. My only my one little gripe about it was there wasn't enough of the words popping up.
Oh, they didn't do that in
the film? They only did at the end.
Oh. And
it wasn't like it'd be something across the whole screen. It would just be an animation that would pop up above the character as they're, bam, pow, socking each other.
Because that's what we think of. That's what I think of when I think of that show.
That's what I was waiting for the whole time I was watching this movie back during the summer.
Maybe the guy that knew how to do it didn't work on the movie.
It was... Maybe they just wanted it to be, a little bit more upscale, better than the TV show. Put in some of that movie money.
That from the TV show.
Anyway, it was pretty funny. Check it out if you have a chance. Okay, so Kevin Conroy, unfortunately he passed away. This was a lot of people's Batman. I just mentioned last week he wasn't my favorite Batman, but he's still a great Batman. Okay? He just wasn't my favorite, but a lot of people, he was their Batman. A lot of kids were introduced this way to Batman, and a lot of adults still to this day consider him to be their Batman.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. There is a rumor that Deadpool 3 will revisit the Fox Marvel properties, because, as we know, Deadpool 3 is going to feature Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine.
Okay.
So you should be excited about seeing your boy Hugh Jackman again.
Coming back as Wolverine again?
Yeah, at his age.
Oh.
Okay, so... Because he didn't want to play Wolverine anymore.
Yeah, I thought so.
Because
he was done.
It's hard to get into that kind of shape.
Right.
It's very difficult, and he's getting older in years. But he does love playing the character, I guess, and he wants to come back and hang out with Ryan Reynolds, playing Deadpool, and have the two of them. They announced that a few weeks back, and they've been building up to this for years. So, Deadpool 3 is going to revisit the Fox Marvel properties, which I guess will include X-Men, but also including Fantastic Four from 2005. That comes to us from the direct. Do you remember that version of the Fantastic Four?
I know, I wasn't impressed with any Fantastic Four that I've seen.
Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. It had Jessica Alba as the Invisible Girl. And remember everyone's favorite? Who is it? It was Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm, the Thing.
Okay.
In this big rubber suit. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't think I cared for it that much.
I really like the casting of that. Except for the guy who played Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Can't remember his name, and I don't think I could pronounce it anyway. But he wasn't my favorite choice. But the cast was great, and they're not good, but you can have a lot of fun with them.
Okay.
Think like Black Adam. It's not good, but you have fun anyway.
I have a sour idea of it. I didn't care for it much.
So you're not looking forward to seeing these characters again?
Well, it just depends. It's not about the characters. It's about what they put together as a movie, right?
Yeah. But we haven't been let down by the Deadpool franchise so far. It's been pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it's just... This one could be it.
You know what? I've been thinking recently, what I'll do sometime, is we'll do not a double feature in one sitting, but we'll do a back-to-back. We'll watch Deadpool 1, and then next movie we watch will be Deadpool 2.
Okay.
And get ready for Deadpool 3. Okay, Alec Baldwin, do you remember hearing all that fiasco about that movie Rust and the death on set?
Oh yeah, it goes on.
And he was traumatized? Well, now Alec Baldwin...
He's in trouble as well.
No, Alec Baldwin is looking to clear his name and accuses the crew on set of negligence.
Yeah,
that comes to us from Variety.
He's been sued. He's also suing to get money that I think the other fellow that got shot is suing. Like, it goes on, a whole bunch of lawsuits.
Yeah.
And he's claiming that he did not actually pull the trigger, but everyone is saying, basically, or people are saying, you had to be able to pull the trigger to get that effect, but he claims, I think, that he didn't. So it's very complicated.
Well, why there was a live handgun on set?
So that's the bottom.
That's not his fault, and that's what it really comes down to, is the armorer's job on set. That's their job.
Still unclear, I think, as to what exactly did happen. Anyway, that's what I heard about it this week.
So it's moving along. Did you have any other thoughts on that?
No, I just think it's a terrible thing to happen. I mean, it's a terrible thing, I'm sure, for himself, even though it was his production company or whatever that was involved in the film. There was issues there, but no one's wanting to shoot a friend. I mean, that's not something you want.
No one's wanting to shoot anyone on set.
No, I mean, not normal people. I mean, it's just a horrible, stressful thing, I'm sure, for everybody involved. But, I mean, those films, they have to be able to put the funds into actually doing things properly and not cheaping out.
Yeah, and safely.
Yeah.
Ultimately. In fact, this is now calling into question, since this incident happened, why are they using live guns anyway? When they can just use fake air guns to get the same, effect.
Well, just
the air effect.
Printed gun or something. But it was basically, there was something went horribly wrong there. It wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, terrible situation all around.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we get any answers out of this. Want to hear some Disney news?
Okay.
Okay, our favorite CEO, Bob Chapek of Disney there. I'm not a big fan of him.
I don't know.
Okay, Disney is set to begin layoffs and cost-cutting measures.
Oh, I thought they did really well with their streaming.
No.
I mean, the theme parks didn't do so good with COVID. But now...
Not when they're shut down.
No, they were shut down for a long time, but the streaming came online at that time and really helped the company.
Yeah, it helped them get through, but it's not doing good so far. So, CEO Bob Chapek sent out a company-wide memo. I read through it. It was on Variety. Here's a quote. Disney reported an operating loss for its streaming segment of $1.47 billion for the quarter ended October 1st, 2022. Which is about $800 million more than the year earlier period, which means they keep losing money on this.
Well, now people at least are going to the theme parks, I suppose, and because they're not at home watching TV anymore.
A lot of this has to do with they're putting in a lot of money to produce content.
Yes.
And it's not equaling the amount of subscribers that they want, because there's a limited number of subscribers.
Yes,
so if they're putting millions of dollars into properties and then when they release them onto Disney Plus, just like with any streaming service, they don't make money for that. They don't make a cent. They make money by getting more subscribers. So what a lot of studios have started moving towards, and it's come through trial and error and watching the competition, is studios are now catching on that. You put it into the theaters first, and then you build up hype so that when it goes to streaming afterwards, it's even more successful. So you're more likely to get new subscribers.
Okay.
Even if it's only temporarily, because a lot of times people just join a service, get a free trial period, and then end it afterwards.
Just from the people we know, I don't know anyone else that has Disney other than us. There's not many people that have signed up for it. They'll go with Amazon or like the Prime or the Netflix, but a lot of people are not.
I know some people with small kids who have it, but really it depends on your choices, right? We have it because we watch Star Wars all the time. We watch all the new Marvel stuff. Plus, there's a lot of good stuff here in Canada on it that's actually from Hulu. A lot of the Fox properties. 20th Century Fox Studios, yeah. So that stuff is now on Disney Plus here in Canada, so that's great for us.
Most people I know don't have it, though.
No, they have Netflix or Prime?
Yeah, they're not going... Well, it gets kind of... There's also Apple TV and such, but people just, they don't see... I think if you really like a movie, like a Disney movie, you're going to probably own the material. You know what I mean?
You mean physical media?
Yeah, I think people own a lot of those.
People don't buy physical media anymore.
They did.
Everyone thinks I'm nuts for buying physical media.
Well, you're buying it now.
I was buying it before, but I stopped. I got back into it recently because I don't want to get into a rant about physical media, but I know physical media is dying, but I believe it's important.
Kids have the units in their vehicles. They need the physical media. They have all these little players for the kids, and they need that physical media to play them on. A lot of people are not going with Disney.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay, so that's it about Disney. Any other thoughts about these all these big cutbacks and layoffs that are coming from?
I think it's just it's happening everywhere. It seems like in the news this week. It's just it's a result of the pandemic and trends changing, and people are tight for money right now. They're not going to sign up for Disney. Money is tight with everyone, the inflation and the crazy grocery prices and gas and everything. So people are not putting money into that.
Okay, yeah.
Not in Canada, anyway.
I think that this is due to his own mismanagement, because I'm not a fan of this guy.
I think it's just a trend. People are not watching as much television anymore.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't have that information. But as I said, I'm not a big fan of this guy, Bob Chapek. He came in during the pandemic when Bob Iger left, who led the company to historic records and success. This guy is not really a good businessman or good for leadership.
I don't know.
And I don't want to get into much about Bob Chapek because I don't respect him that much.
People were in a lockdown for a long time, and all they did was watch TV like Disney.
Yep.
They're not on the lockdown anymore. They're out living their lives. So all those things are going to be suffering, yeah.
Okay. Last bit of news is we watched 2 new trailers.
Yep.
So first we watched Resistance 1942, which it says on Rotten Tomatoes it came out last year. So maybe it's just coming out now because it's award season. So this is coming out now for award season, I guess. Looks to me as if I haven't read anything on it. This trailer came up, I watched it. So it looks to me as if it's a story about resistance, the French resistance during Second World War, probably in Vichy, France, which is a touchy subject in France, I hear.
I didn't see where it was, but it looks interesting because it's people pretending to be someone that they aren't.
Well, it's either occupied France or it's Vichy, France.
Okay.
So
I don't know, but people are in trouble, and it looks interesting.
Yeah, I'll watch it.
It looks, I
wonder if it'll get a theatrical release, or didn't say if it's coming out on streaming, so I guess it's coming out in theaters.
I don't know. You can't tell anymore.
Well, as I said, it's award season, so a lot of movies are coming out for 1 week, maybe 2, because they're winning awards or they're doing well on the award circuit. And so then they get released into limited release. And that's why we get to see them, such as I went to go see the Banshees of Inisherin last week, which I didn't really care for. That's just me. Oh, speaking of which, I don't have it right now because I don't have my phone on, but I got an interesting message from a lady on Twitter. I should have written it down because I turned off my phone before the show, so I didn't have it interrupting us. A lady sent me, she must have read my review on Twitter.
Oh, of the Banshees.
Yeah, and my review of Banshees of Inisherin was, I believe it was the hashtag Banshees of Inisherin. So the whole movie is a metaphor for the Irish Civil War, ? Which is from early 20th century. And I said, I don't believe I know enough about Irish history to get the full meaning of this. I do know that I didn't really care for this movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't speak to me. Although Barry Keoghan showed up in it. That guy pops up in everything.
I don't know who that is.
Barry Keoghan?
Nope.
Well, he was in it as
Sounds
a
like one
supporting...
of my old neighbors. I don't know.
He's Druig.
I don't know.
Druig in one of your favorite Marvel movies, The Eternals. He's Druig.
Oh my gosh, the Eternals again. Must we speak of the Eternals
this guy
every day?
Barry Keoghan shows up in everything. So, he's in this movie, The Banshees of Inisherin. Oh, I'm getting off on a tangent here. We'll talk about that another time.
Anyway, this lady wrote to you
So
because you didn't like the movie.
I said I didn't like it, and I don't know enough about Irish history to fully understand this. But to me, it was a metaphor for the Irish Civil War.
Who told you that?
I came up with that myself.
Oh, okay.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I believe I'm right. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this.
Wrong.
Hey, I watched the movie good. Okay? I know. I pick up on a lot of things you don't pick up on in movies.
Okay.
So, this lady messaged me and she said, she's an Irish woman, and she said, It's terrible.
Okay.
She found it terrible. And I thanked her for that because, it's...
what did she find terrible about it?
She didn't get into that.
She didn't say. Okay, so she also doesn't like it. So who likes it? A whole bunch of people are saying they got a good score on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, let's see if it's gone down since the last time we checked.
You want to see if it's gone down?
Yeah, see if it's gone down.
Sure.
But it was just about a guy getting stubborn and not liking his friend.
Well, one day he just decides, I don't like doing it. It's down to 80% audience score, but it's up to 98% critic score. So critics are loving it, and the audience score keeps slowly going down, but 80% is still good.
Maybe it's insulting to Irish people.
Well, that's the question I posed to her. I said, "Do people really enjoy this film in Ireland?"
Well, if they're
she said she wasn't in Ireland.
Doing the accents properly, that's very insulting.
But those guys are Irish, so how can they not
do it properly?
But
maybe not all of them.
Colin Farrell's pretty Irish.
Like coming from Cape Breton, people try to act a Cape Breton accent, and they do it poorly, and it's irritating.
Okay.
Right? That always gets on my nerves, right?
Okay. So. We got off on a big tangent there.
Well, you were talking about the lady who did...
Resistance 1942. It's an awards movie.
We're going back to that.
Looking forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah. This show is just a series of tangents and digressions, and the next thing you know, we're talking about like 20 different subjects in 5 minutes. None of it makes any sense, but it makes sense to us.
Okay, it makes sense to you.
The other trailer we watched was The Whale.
Yes.
Which is another awards movie starring Brendan Fraser.
I love Brendan Fraser. He's not in very much, I find. I haven't seen him in much.
He's been making a comeback for the last few years.
I really always like him. I saw a preview for this or something about this a few months ago. It looks really, really good.
I saw a review where someone said that this guy's going to win an Academy Award. They based that just off of watching this trailer.
You're looking for a good role. There's a good role.
Well, he has 2 lines in the trailer. The trailer doesn't tell you anything about what this movie is about. It's just that Brendan Fraser's in it. There's a family, there's some kids, and there's some long shots, and
he's health problems, obviously.
He's got some health issues because you can see the tube for his nose. But he only says 2 lines and doesn't tell me what the movie's about. Could be great, could be terrible.
I think it looks good. I like him anyway, so I don't care. I'm going to watch it.
Okay. I'm going to reserve judgment for now because we don't know what this is about. And I just saw The Banshees of Inisherin, which trailers did nothing for me, but everyone said it was good, so I went to go see it. I'm like, nah, not for me. Not for me. So you're excited for both those movies?
Yeah, they both looked really, really neat. I don't know if we're going to get that one about the people in the war. I don't know where we're going to see it. Our theater doesn't bring in that many movies. So.
It does bring in some, and we get more than a lot of other places because we're in a capital city here of this province. Cool. But it's still a very small population for this province, so we don't get everything.
No, we only have like 1 theater.
But they do bring in a lot of stuff. And usually even if it's just there for a week, we do get a lot. So, and if we have time, I still haven't seen a few movies that are playing at the theater right now.
No,
just because I'm just not going to the theater as much. I just don't have the time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time, especially because the movies are so long these days.
Yeah, definitely. So that was it for what I had for news. Did you have any news for today?
No, I don't have any news for today. I've been pretty busy the past few days. I haven't been able to watch very much.
You can jump into the reviews. Do you want to start off with one of our joint reviews?
Sure.
Okay. Well, after last episode, we said we were going to watch Star Wars Andor, episode 10. Still got 2 episodes to go.
It was
What did you think of this episode?
There was land, so that was good for him. I thought it was great. Yeah, it was all about the jailbreak. It was great.
Yep.
I thought it was, really interesting, kept my attention. And now you're wondering what's going to happen now. He's running in this desolate area with not much cover. There's planes around.
What happened to Peacok?
We know he's going to get away because we see him in the future. But then how is he going to get it, not be killed by the rebels? There's a lot going on. Yeah, no, I thought it was an excellent episode, and there's more about, we're finding out the network for the rebels of who's their inside man. So we saw that, and how difficult it is for people, they're trying to do what they can to overthrow that horrible regime. And we know it's going to take a while yet before it happens, so they're all going to lose their lives.
This is still around the birth of the rebellion, which I think it's even before Solo in terms of timeline. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's before then.
Probably, because it's 10 years before the start of the first movie. Anyway, it was really good. I found it really entertaining and great acting with Andy Serkis.
Yeah, that's actually who I'm looking for right now. Andy Serkis plays Kino. What happened to Kino at the end?
He didn't make it.
Did
can't
he?
swim. If someone pushed him over the edge, he can't swim. He's going to drown.
So is he just going to stay there?
Yeah.
No, we probably shouldn't have said that. Sorry, spoilers, everyone.
Oh, no spoilers.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
still
said
new
they
though.
broke out of jail. So.
The storytelling is really good.
Yeah.
And there's Andy Serkis he gives a pretty good monologue because he gives that speech at one point.
Yeah, he's great in it.
To the prison. And there's a speech, I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but there's a speech at the end by Skarsgård, who plays Luthen. Okay?
Oh, is that his name? I wasn't even sure
that's the
of his
character's
name.
name.
Because we don't hear his name very much.
The character's name is Luthen Rial.
He has an alter ego, really.
Luthen Rial.
Okay.
He's amazing in this series.
Yeah.
All of my reviews I'm posting on Twitter, I keep saying how good he is.
It's interesting because he is like the fuel for the whole rebellion. He is obviously the start. His actions are what really get things going.
And his monologue reinforces that. So he gives a great monologue at the end, and it gets to you. It gives some people chills. Did you feel chills?
No. I was more into the jailbreak.
Come on, he was acting the crap out of that.
Yeah, but for me, he's a hard character.
I'm telling you, Skarsgård must be having an amazing time because he's getting to be in Star Wars and he's giving it his all. Because everyone wants to be in Star Wars right now.
He's kind of a jerk. The character itself, he's not. I don't like him that much.
Well, he's trying to start a rebellion to win a war against the Galactic Empire.
But
you don't want someone who's nice.
The problem is that he has a pretty cushy life. And what his actions are doing are putting a lot of stress and strain on all the other citizens in the galaxy. We'll put it that way. Right? He is putting people in the jail. He is doing all of that. And he gets to live a pretty glamorous life. So this is the issue with him. He is kind of a jerk.
Isn't Mon Mothma doing the same thing? She's trying to raise funds to start this rebellion. While she's living the high life.
No. She's not there yet.
No, she's not, but she's working towards it.
She's in the infancy. She doesn't realize her potential. She hasn't broken out yet. She's just she's not putting people at risk in this way. He is basically putting everyone's lives. He's making them a lot harder.
Didn't you say that about Andor last week?
What do you
mean? You said.
I'm saying he's not a nice guy. I don't really like him. That's what I'm saying. I don't really like his character.
Think he's a scoundrel?
No, I don't think that. I just think it's fine for him to say and for him to do that. Mm-hmm. But he has a great life. And everybody else has got to wiggle under the oppression. Mm-hmm. And he's not doing that at this point.
Okay.
That's what I feel about it. So I don't really care. I don't really like his character at all, actually.
No?
No.
I think his character's great. You're looking at this way different than I am.
Yeah, I don't like his character. Yeah. And I don't really... And Cassian Andor, too, he's got to smarten up. He did some really dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really ruined the lives of...
Yeah, that's what you were saying that last
week. Both of the characters are faulty. Yeah, they're both...
Is that why the characters are so compelling? Because they have flaws and they're not, Mary Sue?
I think it's an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
But both of them, he obviously he changes his life and he becomes more responsible, mm-hmm. I'll say. Because at this point, he only stands for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Still.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so...
Anyway, that's my feeling on it.
My final take on it is this show is still... amazing. It's firing on all cylinders. I definitely recommend watching it. Star Wars Andor, being directed and written by Diego Luna. I don't know if it's directed by him, but he's Cassian Andor.
Yeah, it's really...
He's an amazing filmmaker. Check out Andor on Disney+. No, I was not paid to say that. What would you like to do next? We got one more thing we can review together, or we can jump into our single reviews.
What's the next one?
Next one is we both watched the first episode of The Handmaid's Tale, which is from 2017.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
I didn't watch it all.
No, you walked out on it, so that tells you what she thought.
At all. It's not for me. It's too dark.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like something like that.
Okay.
It's too upsetting.
It's definitely dark. It's meant to be scary.
It's not that it was scary. It's just way too dark for me. It's not in my...
That's how a lot of scary movies are nowadays. They're not made to just scare you as in jump scares. They're made to be disturbing and very difficult to watch.
I'm only scared by ghost things. I didn't find it scary at all. I just found it's not for me. It's way too dystopian and dark. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be seeing that.
Okay.
Life has already got bad stuff. I don't need to be watching something.
Yeah, a worse version,
Yeah, I don't need to watch that.
Okay.
That's my thought on it.
My thoughts on it were I finished watching the episode. I'm going to continue watching The Handmaid's Tale because I found it very interesting. Elizabeth Moss was really good in it. They're setting down a lot of seeds and backstory, but I get what's going on. I have a few questions so far, but I'm sure they'll be answered in future episodes, hopefully. And it is a dark, grim, dystopian future. And it's very much an extreme of if you take the world right now in the U.S., and then you go into this dystopian future and you just go to extremes on certain points. So I get what's going on, and it's very well made. And
more like the Nazis in my mind. They act more like the Nazis than they do. Yeah, that's what I just don't care for.
Similar to fascism.
I don't like it at all. Anyway, it's not my thing.
But it's not about Nazis. It's about the U.S. in this dystopian future. Anyway, I enjoy it, and I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
If it becomes terrible in one of these seasons, then I'll just tap out. But this is a highly rated show.
Yeah, it's the book.
I know everyone's been talking about it lately.
I'm sure it's...
Everyone's been talking about it for years.
Well written. But, it looks nice. It's just not for me at all.
Okay. Critics like it more than audiences. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 83% critic rating and a 68% audience score. So some audiences love it, but that's still the majority.
It's not for me.
It's still 2/3. Okay, so, and that is The Handmaid's Tale. Moving on. Big movie this week. I'll do a quick review as I went to go see Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to give away anything.
I haven't seen it yet.
So we just watched the original Black Panther not too long ago. which I enjoyed more on subsequent viewings, because I hadn't seen it since I had seen it in the theater back when it came out in 2018, I guess it was, but I don't remember exactly when. I think I enjoyed this one more. Okay, there's a lot going on in it. It does have an underwater kingdom similar to Aquaman. Okay, because Namor is, and the Atlanteans, but they're not called Atlanteans. They're called Talocan, because it's based on Mesoamerican culture, the Aztec cultures.
Okay.
There's a lot going on. They introduced Namor, and he does a great job. Everything's really good in it. I don't like the wings on his ankles. I know that's true to the comic book version, but it looks ridiculous. Some people told me, they said it looked ridiculous at first, but they warmed up to it. I don't care. It still looks ridiculous. It's comic book wacky. He's got little wings on his ankles, on each foot, and that allows him to fly and jump around in the air. Anyway, I think they could have retconned that and adapted it.
What about the story?
Story is quite good. It made sense. It was really well done what the director and writer Ryan Coogler did to address Chadwick Boseman's death. So in a way, they addressed it in the movie, and they didn't do it in a way similar to Carrie Fisher dying in Star Wars, and then they put her in with previous footage. Right. They didn't do that. They didn't recreate them such as they did with Peter Cushing as Grand Admiral Tarkin in Rogue One. They didn't go that route either.
I didn't like the look of him in Rogue One.
They didn't use a CGI character or even just someone in the mask. You don't even see him at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
So it was I think it was well handled. I like how there's lots going on and the story is quite compelling. Some people were expecting certain things from some characters, and they wanted certain people to turn out to be a Black Panther, certain person or persons to turn out to be the new Black Panther. So some people weren't exactly happy with who it ended up being.
Oh.
I don't have any gripes about it.
Okay.
I think they could have gone with other people as well. They did bring in some other characters, these other Wakandan superheroes, but it's through tech, and I can't believe they went that way. I don't want to spoil it, but it's more obscure characters. But it's anyway. All the people in it were great.
Okay.
There's not a bad performance in it.
No. Well, the last one had good performances, but the story didn't make
my only real gripe about it is, and after watching other reviews, it's not just me. When I went into it, the theater that we have here isn't that good. So I was watching the movie. I'm like, this is dark. I'm like, this is a bit too dark. There are some scenes that happen at night, and it's hard to see what's going on.
Oh.
Okay, so the lighting is not good on it, and so when I saw these other reviews online this week, people saying the same thing, my first thought was, this theater I'm in is crappy. They haven't changed the projector bulb because they're cheaping out, as they always do.
Yeah.
And it just gets darker, but you're supposed to replace them.
No, but it's other people too.
So other people are saying it too. So it wasn't the local theater's fault here. So what I'm hearing online is that some people think that someone screwed up in the copy that was distributed to theaters, and
I think that would happen with such a big deal movie with so much money into it.
Well, look what happened to Cats a few years back. They had to send out a patch to fix it.
I don't know.
Because there was mistakes, because it was sent out incomplete and there was mistakes.
No one seemed to like that movie.
The only other time I've had that problem with the Marvel Studios movie was Captain Marvel. Even to this day, the last time I watched Captain Marvel, and I watched it on Disney Plus, I'm like, it's too dark. It's just too dark. I'm like, brighten it up. I can't see anything, especially at the beginning when they're on that Kree homeworld.
I noticed that, but...
So, apparently, I think someone screwed up, and they made a bad copy that got distributed and didn't check it properly.
Probably.
No, I'm hearing reviews from in the U.S. too, so I think someone made a mistake.
You gotta adjust your
Either way, I give Black Panther Wakanda Forever definitely a best movie ever.
Okay.
Yeah, the lighting was bad. People are saying it's a bit slow paced or meandering at times. Yeah, I can see that. It's 2 hours and 4... I'm not the one saying this. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, they could have tightened that up.
2 hours hours and 40 minutes?
41 minutes.
Oh my gosh, people.
Yeah, they could have moved it along a bit faster. Also, at the end, it had about 4 or 5 different endings. So it reminded me of Return of the King, which has 9 or 10 endings.
Okay.
It's like, we're ending with these people. Now we're ending with these people. Now we're ending with these people. Now we're ending with these people again. And I'm like, oh.
Okay. I have a feeling I'm not going to care for it very much. From what you're saying.
Well, maybe you'll like it.
2 hours and 41 minutes to spare.
Maybe you'll like it more or less than the first one.
I did not like the first one, so we will see. Anyway.
I recommend it. I enjoyed it. It was really good.
Okay.
Would you like to do one of your reviews?
I only really have one for this week.
Let's hear it.
I've been really busy. Yeah, I finished watching The Resort, and it had a very satisfying ending. Yeah, it was really, really good. I thought it was basically about the couple. I talked about the show before. They're on vacation. It's in the Yucatan Peninsula.
So in Mexico?
In Mexico.
Okay, so don't non-spoilers here.
No.
Because it's new.
Yeah, they go on this vacation, and they end up looking for missing people.
And they find a painting with themselves in it. That's the show you were telling me about.
Yeah, that was one part of it. But they keep on looking, and they keep on going, and they meet some interesting people along the way. And it has a very satisfying ending, and especially it shows about a woman going through loss and how she feels like she has to do something on her own. She's been married for a long time. She feels like it's always just the two of them. She needs to accomplish something of her own, and she's had some problems, and in the end, she has a big smile on her face, basically, put it like that. And it's also, if you've ever had a loved one that's gone missing, this would be something that you would like to see, because it's very rewarding at the end what happens, and I'm sure everybody that has a missing person in their lives, if they haven't been found, you
want some form of closure.
Yeah, myself, we had a friend go missing for 3 days, and it was awful, and he was found. But I think now, if he was never found, how awful it would be. We would still be wondering.
Yeah, you just wouldn't know.
All
years later.
Yeah, our neighbor that disappeared was just found this week. He's gone for 4 years. They found his body. So yeah, it would be, for anyone that has a missing person, especially. It's a beautiful show. I really enjoyed it. It's very different. It's it's basically like a fantasy kind of show. Anyway, it's really good, and it's funny too.
You recommend this for people?
Yes.
Is this the best series ever from Peacok?
I don't rate it like that.
Or worst series ever?
I don't rate that. That's not my rating.
How would you rate it?
A 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10? 90%?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Really good, and the acting is really good in it. It's a beautiful show. And, it was really nice. It's on, I guess it was made by Peacok, but I've been watching it on Showcase in Canada.
Yeah, we don't get Peacok here in Canada.
I think there's 10 episodes. It was really good.
Which, by the way, is a terrible name for a streaming service. Peacok?
Well, isn't it part of NBC?
Yeah, NBC, because they have that Peacok rainbow there.
I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but anyway.
I just don't think it's a very good name, but they're stuck with it now.
Why not?
Okay. Next movie, I just saw a new movie today, although it came out, I think, last month. I saw Smile, which everyone's been talking about. So Smile currently has a 79% rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 79 critic rating and a 78% audience score. Overall, I found this movie, it was okay. It was okay. It was pretty good. It had did a good job of establishing tension, and through some interesting cinematography, like weird angles, but also the camera turning until eventually it's upside down. The director and the cinematographer does a good job of establishing that things aren't quite right in this world. Something's going on.
That's
okay?
Cool.
Which all the best scary movies to me are ones that there's something going on, but we can't quite see it. It's always just off camera. It's just off camera. You can't quite see it. It was 2 hours, which once again I felt was too long. Could have cut half an hour on it and off of it, and it would have been a better movie. It had some good tense moments. It relied a little bit too much on jump scares, and a bunch of them just. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but they didn't get me.
Jumping out at you?
Well, things where there was one time where there was a scene cut, and so the way they cut it is, she turns around and starts to scream, and then there's like big loud sound effect, but it cuts to another scene at the same time. So I'm like, okay. And then there's other jump scares, she turns around and suddenly she sees this, which of course there was going to be something behind you because you turned your back on what was going on.
Right.
And it was a bit predictable. Okay. Now, so it was overall creepy and a tense film. Uh-huh. The ending was not the greatest for me.
Right.
And as I said, it was a bit meandering. I would have cut half an hour off the time.
Sometimes it's hard to keep that tension and get an ending that actually meets the beginning of the film.
Which is also why you don't want to draw out the film length. You want to keep it tight.
But it's about the story, right?
Yeah.
You can everyone's always guessing what's happening here, and then when you do find out what's really happened, sometimes it's not.
There was
doesn't meet expectations.
There was some. How the story played out was fine, except there was the characters were trying to figure it out, particularly the main character, and some of the scenes could have been taken out. It's like this is extra information. We don't need this. We've already jumped to this conclusion, so the character is taking too long.
Okay.
If the audience has already figured out the character should be updated, you gotta treat your audience with respect. Don't assume your audience is dumb and that you have to beat them over the head with the message in order for them to get what's going on. You gotta give the audience some liberties and not treat them like they're stupid.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a good film, okay, which to me, I guess, if it's making the cardinal sin of just being okay also means easily forgettable. It did make some good money. It's probably the best scary movie out right now because Halloween Ends was god awful, and that Pray for the Devil was also not for me.
Right.
So in terms of scary movies, it's probably the best scary movie I've seen this year. Right. But I haven't seen many this year.
Right. We saw that ridiculous vampire movie.
The Invitation. That was so dumb.
The Invitation.
So dumb. Let's not get into a rant about that.
It was really dumb. Yeah, it's
Wasn't great.
I kind of.
But you don't realize that until over an hour into the movie.
That very pale guy hanging around.
I just thought it was dumb that this black. As soon as the movie starts off, there's a black woman in New York. She does a DNA test. Oh, guess what? She's related to all these very white old British guys. You lost me right there.
And they really want her to
implausible.
Visit them.
And they're paying for her to go to England by herself to meet with them. Sounds
suspicious.
Okay, if it sounds too good to be true, just run the other way.
Like, I had done the DNA test right at that time, and none of my relatives wanted to see me.
You didn't get a call from any vampires?
No. Not even any, werewolves.
Who were going to send you on a free trip across the world?
No, I would have taken it. It was just, I don't know, maybe not vampire, but werewolf. They can only come out when the moon's up, so werewolf.
I thought it was werewolves at first, but that's not what we're talking about. Smile, decent, so, however, it was a bit meandering, so what would I give it? Best movie ever? I'm going to have to give it worst movie ever.
I don't agree with that rating system.
But it was meandering and it went a bit too long, and the characters were a little bit dumb, and it relied too much on jump scares.
They
so
have to be dumb
it's
in
easily
a horror movie. They would never get killed. It's always like, they go and they all separate, and this one goes off into the woods by herself. Aha, you're going to get killed. Like, look what's behind you, right? That's what a horror movie's all about. That's one of the cliches of horror movies. Right?
Which means the characters are not believable.
Don't try to, drop the keys when you get in the car, all that stuff. Trying to get in the car, you drop the keys, and the ghoul comes and gets you.
Of course you gotta drop the keys. That's the best time to drop the keys, when someone's coming after you in a dark parking lot with no lights.
Yes, it's always the way. Anyway.
Okay. I will do... Should I do... Yes, we got a little bit of time. I will do another quick review. I have been continuing to watch Avenue 5 on HBO Season 1. I'm almost finished season 1. I watched episodes 6, 7, 8. Things keep getting worse for this crew of, the damned there that are marooned in space. As I said last time, it's Gilligan's Island, but in space. Yeah, there's some laughs in it. I'm enjoying how well it's made and how it plays out. And I like the characters because they're more believable.
Oh, yeah.
The characters are incompetent. They're spiteful and petty. Some are really dumb. Oh, actually, most of them are really dumb.
It's also a lot about mob mentality.
Yeah, there's that. And there's a lot of social commentary to the world today, particularly relating to the U.S. There's a funny scene where, I'm not going to spoil it, but some 7 passengers end up dying.
Yeah.
And they do it to themselves.
Lots of passengers do die.
And they keep going. They see someone die and they're like, it's fake. And then they keep going and they keep dying. Until finally they're like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
Maybe not.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got some funny concepts. I'm enjoying it more. I'm not enjoying it as much as you, but it is a well-made show. So far I'm giving it a best series ever.
Yeah, and the characters are so interesting.
It's winning. Excuse me.
The captain, who has different voices depending on what he's doing, and the owner of the
What's that
company.
actor's name?
What actors?
What's that actor's name? The captain.
Hugh Laurie.
That's Hugh Laurie?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know his name.
Oh my. Yeah, that's Hugh Laurie. He has various accents that he uses depending on the scenario.
You are absolutely right.
Depending on how upset he gets. And the character of Matt, I think he's a great character. He's so crazy, and the things that he says, and he's supposed to be the passenger liaison person, and he's awful at his job.
Played by Zach Woods.
And then they have to put they have Karen, and her husband.
This show only has 66% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
They don't have a sense of humor.
It's
a great show.
Oh,
those ratings, though, I don't ever understand.
Who is your favorite character on Avenue 5? You asked me that question, and I've been thinking about that. Who is your favorite character?
Well, I don't know about favorite, but the most interesting I find is Matt. He's the most interesting character.
The passenger liaison guy?
Yeah, he's the most interesting character.
So dumb.
He's the things that he says. Yeah, I don't know who my favorite one is, but he is the most interesting. Without him in the show, it wouldn't really be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So I really enjoy it.
My favorite characters would either be Iris, who's played by Susie Nakamura. I'm probably butchering that. She's pretty funny because she's so pissed off all the time.
Well, she's a wrangler, we'll call her.
Or the engineer Billy.
Billy,
who's played by Lenora Critchlow.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so both of those are really good.
I
also like the captain, who's played by Hugh Laurie.
Yes.
He's really good.
In season 2, we get a couple of new characters.
Interesting.
Yeah, we get a family.
Okay. Okay. Don't tell me about it. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm catching up.
Yeah.
Is season 2 all out? Is season 2 all released yet? Or is it still new episodes coming out?
No, I'm still watching it.
Okay.
Still coming
I got one more episode to go to finish season 1, and then I'll get caught up on season 2, and then we'll watch it together.
That's one of my favorite ones.
We mentioned at the end of the last episode we were going to watch The Crown. We haven't got to it yet. Since then, I've gone to see Black Panther: Wakanda Forever and Smile.
You've been
at
the movies busy all the time. I've been doing all kinds of things. Not all the time. I've been busy with work and all kinds of things. What else we got going on? That's everything, I think, for tonight. Yeah. I'm going to keep watching Avenue 5, and I'm going to keep watching The Handmaid's Tale. Okay. And gotta get to watching more of my physical media. It's not going anywhere. No, it's not going anywhere, and my 4K player still works. That's why I don't have to worry about it with streaming services, because I don't have to worry about them taking it off. I can just watch it at any time. I guess so. So this copy of Batman the Animated Series, this is my copy. I can watch it anytime, as much as I want. Because if I didn't have this, I couldn't watch this. It's not available on anything here in Canada. No. It would be, I believe it's available on HBO Max.
However,
we don't get
lucky
it.
us in Canada, HBO Max is not available. Thank you, Warner Brothers. Instead, we have Crave, which is nowhere near as good, and
we don't know what we're missing in a way, though.
It's not good.
Well, it has all the HBO shows.
I hope that the new CEO of Warner Bros., David Zaslav, gets to work on that so we get HBO Max here, just like we have Disney Plus here, because you want to release it everywhere and give people a legal option. Yeah. Otherwise, people will pirate it.
About us.
Otherwise, we're not that big of a market, but we're not that small either.
At least our Netflix is good now. When Netflix first started out, everyone wanted the American Netflix because Canadian Netflix was terrible.
I think that was the same in other countries too.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
not good.
It was awful. It had like 30-year-old British mystery series. That's the only thing I watched on it.
That's why I didn't have Netflix back then.
It was bad and not good mysteries either. It was bad. It was very poor, and then I canceled it. I didn't have cable for a month because I was moving, so I signed up and then I just canceled. I was like, nope, not gonna get that. So it's definitely, thank goodness, Netflix has improved, and I think we're seeing all the content now.
Yeah, I'm just going to check to see if we got any more fan mails. Ooh, what do we got here? No, it's just notices from mail? Twitter.
Oh, Twitter.
If you want to get in touch with the show, you can send us an email, CanadaMovieTVHosers@gmail.com. I will put that on the bottom of the screen and in the description below. You can also send us a comment in the description below, which I figured out how to do that, so hopefully that'll be on all of our...
Okay. Yeah.
If I start getting comments, then I can read them out, or emails. You can also get a hold of us on Twitter, @CanadaHosers is the account for the show, where we post whenever a new show goes live and gets published. I put that there. You can get in contact with the show on Twitter using our hashtag #CanadaHosers, and I'll do a search for that. I haven't received anything on that yet except for my reviews.
Like and subscribe.
Please, that is very important. That will help us out so that YouTube will recommend it for other people to check our show out.
Okay.
Also, you can follow me on Twitter @St. John's Critic. You'll see my picture there, Gregory Barrett. It's an older picture, but you'll definitely recognize me.
Maybe we should take a newer picture of you.
Maybe. I think it's when I still had the goatee. So I'll have to put an updated photo then.
Take another
a few
picture
years
of
ago.
you.
That's everything. So, till next episode, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.